Hello again. So, little impromptu sketchbook tour because Dave asked me to. And as one of my biggest fans, the whole 3 of you out there, he asked, he shall receive. So I set myself an impromptu challenge to do a sketchbook in under 30 days. So yeah, it's one of the SS sketchbooks. It's a portrait rather than the landscape ones I've been previously using. And the paper itself is slightly different, still really good for watercolour, but actually quite fun just to sketch in. Unlike, it's a little bit different than the last one I find. So, let's jump in. I did this between the 25th of the 4th to the 20th of the 5th, so technically under 30 days. And I would like to say, oh yes, this was the first page that I did, but it wasn't. I ended up going back and doing this. And it's just a quick paint up of an old sketch that I had done digitally a while back. I just wanted to play about with a couple more paints and try and do a bit better shading on him, on fabric, which I'm not very good at because I have to draw it. All my characters are naked apparently. Some paintings of some moons, mainly play about the texture using, I think it's Dan Smith's watercolour crown. I'm not a big fan of it. It's cool when you're using it on wood and bricks and stuff like that because it allows you to use watercolour paper, but I just don't like the end texture that you get from it. Some thumbnailing for a bigger painting that I'm planning to do with these 2 lovely colours. I ended up doing another painting with these 2 colours as a limited painting series that has nothing to do with display last night, purely because I wanted to. So who knows if I'll actually end up doing this because I'm running quite low on this paint after that. Ooh, a little sketch I did of my friend Polly's selfie because doesn't she look fabulous? And I actually really enjoyed doing sort of this mirror selfie stuff with like just really quick watercolour on it. So I did a couple more of them, but rather than doing my friend's selfies, I did fictional character selfie because it was fun. Speaking of this one, I did the original sketch for this years and years ago and then just quickly revamped it for this so it looked a little less sit. But yeah, that was cool. This was meant to become a YouTube video. So in my last one, you know that I was swassing all my watercolours, which included the neon ones that I very rarely use. But because I very rarely use them, that got me thinking, could I paint skin tones and what could I do with neon colours other than neon stuff? So I started experimenting. It was fun to do, but I absolutely hate the outcome. So while I have a few hours of video footage, well, not a few hours, but about an hour and a half video footage of this, longer actually, I really don't like the outcome and it's just putting me off editing that video. So that may or may not happen. Then I did some drawings in my usual moody purples palette to make myself feel better for this atrocity. I then just wanted to play about with actually doing some more quick figure work. I ended up doing these and I really liked how they came out. They're intentionally symmetrical down the middle and I think that looks quite cool. So yeah, I did that. And this was really just an excuse to work with some wonderful handmade watercolour paints because I bought far too many of them during lockdown, but they're gorgeous to work with. I did buy some new Winsor & Newton's watercolours purely because I had 4 empty spaces in a palette for Winsor & Newton and it annoyed me, so I had to buy more. So these are for the professional ranges, which I really love. Their Potter's Pink is one of my favourite paints. But I also had one empty in the Cotman side of it, so I picked up Cotman's Paint Cray, really because I love this colour. It's one of my favourites. It might not be a professional paint, but I just love that paint. But apparently it's light fast, but I would have to do some testing on that myself. Quick study of a pomegranate because I want to do a painting with a pomegranate in. I did this in Ghosts. I probably said that wrong. And I'm actually quite happy with how it came out. It could be better, but I'm quite happy about how it did come out. I do like doing my ghost paintings on a black background, so you'll see that keep coming up. More of the just quick portraits that I was playing around with. Did some guys this time. Loved the hair. This was actually done using the Winsor & Newton that I recently bought, but while I think they work really nicely as a palette together, I don't think I'm showing them the best way they could be here. But I still kind of like the piece. These are some portraits of my dear friends that I decided to do, and I had to give Amy a crown because she deserves it. And the lovely Dave, who really suits a purple beard. Because I was doing selfies of people in mirrors, I did one of my sister's old characters, just for fun. But it does look more like some sort of vigil with the candles and stuff like that. But I kind of like that. But after I drew it, the hand is not right. The way they're holding that phone just isn't right. No human being would actually hold the phone like that. But you live and learn. I then decided I wanted to do some hand sketches because I hadn't drawn hands just by themselves. So these are just paintings based off pictures based off Pinterest. But obviously I had to mix it up, and I started drawing like a little flame on here. And I'm like, okay, let's do one for earth. So we've got a flower. Then let's do one for water, and let's do one for air. I'm feeling Avatar vibes. But they were fun to do, and it was nice to sort of play about with drawing hands again and painting them, and I enjoyed that. Another limited palette one. I cannot remember what the names of the actual two paints are, but these are from my Missing Gold set, and I do like the last outcome of this. I actually kind of like the concept, but these things I would tweak about it. I might work it into a completed large scale piece. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I did this when I was watching a live stream by, her name's Elisa, but I cannot remember what her handle is on social media. I'll pop that in if I remember it. But I was watching one of her live streams and I decided to do a painting based off the same reference that she was using, which was kind of nice because I hadn't slept well the night before and weren't feeling too hot, so it's nice to just chill out and do that. Another little concept page here of something I wanted to play with. I don't think I'll do any more with that. I think I'll just leave it with what it is. Took from these really cool paints from Studio Lissa, and I don't know if that shows up on the camera. I hope it does. But they sift colour. So depending on the angle of the light, it's purple or gold, which is really cool. I only got little dot cards for them because I can't see it being a paint I will use a lot of, because I don't use metallics that often, but I do think it was cool. I think if you do something like calligraphy or something like that, these would be fantastic for that. And I got my dot card from Penholder Arts, and I love these colours, and I think he's going to do a release of some more colours, and I might have to pick these up because they're lovely. And I did this with just those two. These colours are really nice as well, but these just caught my eye. Another Gauss piece. I don't really like this one, but me working in Gauss can be very hit and miss just depending on how it worked with that day, but this one didn't work out too well. I like the colours, but that's about it. Very quick little sketch, painting, some little fey woman. I honestly did a doodle in this in some other book and thought I'll have a play about it here. Just a study from portrait on Pinterest, and some more concept of ideas of things that I want to work with. I don't know why I bothered reworking that thumbnail again. I don't think I've added anything onto it in the additional one, but I think that's sort of the posing I want to go with that painting. And it's not very clear on these thumbnails, but they're going to have like coins in their eyes, like the paying the ferryman. It looks more like classes or buttons here. I would like to do this one, but I definitely need to get better with painting my lighting and my shadows if I'm going to be playing around with not thunder, lightning. I got some lovely bean paints. I ordered a new full pan. I got some dot card ones for when I'm travelling about, and I picked up some of their Gauss, which is these four here, and ended up doing this painting with them. And as Gauss paintings go, I'm really happy with this one. I really like how it came out, so I think that was good. I then did this little one to sort of fill in the gap that I had, and it actually turned into my favourite painting in the sketchbook, which, considering it was just a quick little study, I really enjoyed. And I'm kind of liking the head only filling half the page, then nothing there, random floating head, which if you follow me on Instagram you probably saw the painting I did last night. It's very much the same theme. I did some little studies here, just, you know, sketching up Pinterest and painting them up, and I hated 3 out of the 4 of them. I don't usually paint over things that I don't like, because there's usually some benefit to them, but I just hated looking at them, so I painted over and doodled over them, and that was that page. Not every page in a 30-day sketchbook can be something I'm happy with. Some concepts again for another painting. I kind of like the idea of doing a face with a snake going around its eye. I just wanted to play about with the actual, how do I want to paint this snake, because I didn't want it uber realistic, like painting out every single scale, because I know what my attention span's like. So a couple of experiments with how I actually want to get the texture of the snake, and I kind of prefer the lighter ones where they're mainly white, so I might do something like that but on the dark background. I keep going like that to clean this page, but it's not that there's something on the page. I changed the finger and I can just see the outline of it. I don't know if it's so up on camera, and I keep thinking it's dirt. But these are some life drawing sketches I did. These aren't the original life drawing sketches, they're in my sketchbook, and a lot messier. And I thought, do you know what, let's try doing watercolour versions of them. They were fun to do. I prefer the outcome of the much simpler one, this one, than I do of the more complex one here. But I think I might do some more of that, because I mainly paint portraits and I really need to get back into drawing and painting bodies and getting better at them. And then I might actually put clothes on people. Wouldn't that be a miracle? Some more thumbnailing. This was my plan for Mermaid 2020, which I still technically have time to do a picture for that, but I've not done it. But I wanted to sort of do a portrait of a mermaid that was clearly a mermaid, even if you couldn't see the tail. So I was thinking red fingers, gills, clearly floating underwater, and I like the concept, but I need to sort of work on it a bit more, and there's a bit where I was testing things out later on that I'll talk about in a minute. Some more studies and concepts. This is sort of a reworked version of one of the characters I've been playing around with for a deck of cards I'm going to do. More chains in the headpiece. And this was just a study for the sake of doing a study. I'll talk about this one first, because this was me experimenting with that mermaid piece a little bit more. It's a bit too cartoony. It's not bad, it's just not what I'm after. I want it to look a bit more realistic. I did experiment with doing like these bubble effects here, and I don't think they came out very well, if I'm fair. But enough of learning. This was one that I wanted just to work with one paint in different tones, because I see a lot of people doing this with like mountain scenes and stuff, and it looks really cool. but it's not really what I do. So I did this. Again, this one's more cartoony but more intentional with the cartooniness. I'm actually really happy with how it came out, and I might do another piece based of this, but go more into my normal portrait style. But I do like the guys in the background and the one tone, so I think that'd be quite fun. I did this with Dusk by Penholder Art, which is probably my favourite watercolour. Like, if I had to pick an individual one, which is impossible because that would change. You ask me that tomorrow, it'll be a different one. Oh, speaking of lovely watercolours, I picked up some by, I want to say Dirty Indigo, but I'm merging two paint makers together then. Together. I may or may not edit this bit out. Apparently, I've lost the ability to form words. The fact that I can't remember that person's going to annoy me, but I will pop up a name here because look at them, aren't they queer? So I picked some of them up and did a little sketch of them. I actually really like how this came out. I may have lied before when I said the previous Trot painting was my favourite. This may have taken the cake from that. I just think it came out really well. And I like the way the colours work together. I did a little mixing chart here, and then I couldn't decide what to do here. It's the last page in the sketchbook, and I always feel nervous about the first and the last page. So I just did something really simple. Very terrible building, but landscape. But that means I could do it. And that's it. However, I actually do have a couple of bits in here this time. So what have we got? We have got lots of swatches that I've been doing, which I just wanted to test. These aren't actually in this sketchbook, because I'd end up not using them in here. These are from, I am forgetful of people's names today. Tiny Clouds Paints, who does the most aesthetic paintings, but some swatches of that. Oh, we had I'll keep these together. This was the Squaller Box Challenge, where it's birds of a feather. Of course, I wanted to do people. I didn't particularly like the outcome of these, but it was fun to do. I actually prefer my little sketch one more than anything else. And some testing of the watercolour paints and stuff there as well. I really like how these feathers came out, because you had a wax pencil that came with it, and it worked well for doing like resistant pieces, so I quite like how this came out, but it didn't work very well as I went later. And this was just a little piece that I did to test out the Jackson watercolour blocks, and I've definitely learned that I really miss 100% cotton paper when I'm not using 100% cotton paper. For no other reason than I like it. So it's why I keep getting, half the reason I keep getting extra but sketch bags, because they're 100% cotton. You probably don't need 100% cotton for a sketchbook, but I miss that type of paper when I don't have it. So that's my 30-day sketchbook. That's where I'm going to end this video, because I can't think of anything else to say. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you when I next get round to filming and editing something. Bye bye. What's this hand? That's ridiculous. That's meant to be a wave. Goodbye, people.